Welcome to this webinar today. I am delighted that you have chosen to spend time with me talking about providing stability while navigating a new normal in a post-pandemic world. My name is Carla Brondo, and I'm the CEO of Brondo Power Institute. Today, we're going to talk about Corona and how it has changed our world. We know that life will never be the same in this post-COVID world, because the coronavirus delivered an unprecedented shock to the global economy, putting tens of millions of people out of work and displacing others. It's a tragedy. The job market has changed forever, and trained workers are stuck in the wrong places, and others have retired early, and some are having difficulty finding reliable childcare so that they can return to the workforce. This webinar is an approach to help you adapt to a new post-COVID world and find a solid path forward in your organization. As you can see on the slide, a boost in wages is not the cure-all, even though joining bonuses are common and wages are rising. Today, instead, I'm suggesting 5 approaches that will help you overcome the COVID-19 challenges, setbacks, and failures in a way that allows people to thrive and you can achieve extraordinary outcomes. During the pandemic and the quarantine, we were so bored that we dumped out a 1,000-piece puzzle. And as you can see, we were confused where to start. We were uncertain that we wanted to do this. We doubted whether we could, and we were quite bewildered. Well, the analogy to this is that the employees right now are feeling these same emotions. And as leaders, we must standardize. We must put the pieces of the puzzle back together for them. At this time, it appears that moving back and forth between on-site and virtual appears to be the new normal. And I like to call this betwixt and between, because this disruption in familiar routines and exceptional challenges they bring exceptional challenges for managers as well as for your employees. And so what we want to do is normalize this betwixt and between. And I call it betwixt and between because it's kind of like that Twix candy bar with the shortbread and the caramel and the chocolate. You know, how much better could it be? But we want to triumph over COVID, and betwixt and between means that we have more than one routine. We have to have one at the office and one at home. And it's like, how am I going to find my pencils? Where did the pens go? And so what we're saying here is that it takes a long time to establish these habits because, you know, it takes 21 days to create a new habit. So that's what we're facing when we work at the office and when we work at home. So the managerial headaches are like etc. in size, because you have to maintain the right equipment at the office. You have to have meetings with on-site and virtual workers. How do you keep them all engaged? You have to keep team members connected. You have to make fair assignments. You have to ensure deadlines are met, and you have to schedule one-on-one conversations with each employee. And you have to manage the personalities. Now, we don't have time to talk about the personalities today, but it can be huge to manage all the conflicting personalities that you have. So as you can see, you have to supply the equipment, you might say the hard stuff, and you also have to do the people stuff, or helping them see the vision and be dedicated to the purpose where you are going in the direction of your goals. Now, the great managers will find the new normal by helping to stabilize daily activities, streamline processes and procedures, and stop the duplication of efforts. We have to find new ways to leverage technology, which will increase our efficiency. Now, what I'm saying here is that during all of COVID, this is one of the benefits of it, because it highlighted the processes and procedures that were outdated and the duplication of effort that might be throughout your organization. So this is one of the benefits, and how we can work together to standardize these things that are outdated and continue forward to make the company better. Now, the 5 things that I have chosen to talk about today are willing to take work from home. That's what employees are willing to take a pay cut to work from home. This is an interesting concept. And they're providing pop-up days to improve well-being. I found this fascinating that companies are having pop-up days. Companies are emphasizing soft skills and empathy, and they're making microtransactions count. So training managers in how to lead hybrid teams is also a big topic. So number one, employees are willing to take a pay cut to continue working at home. I found this the new normal, and it was interesting to me that this was a shift. The companies executives were shifting from early this spring when they said they wanted their employees to return to the offices by Labor Day or sooner. Now, the move could pose a dilemma for those workers who largely worked from home during the pandemic and have become accustomed to throwing in that load of laundry or walking the dog between Zoom meetings during the day. And according to a Harris poll that was taken last month, 2,063 people said that out of these 263 people, 40% said they preferred to work from home, 35% wanted office home hybrid setup, and 25% wanted to go back to the office full time. And I was fascinated by an article in the New York Times that said, I will work for air conditioning because their apartment was hot and she wanted to go back to the office. Now, with these statistics in mind, you have to look at 12,000 employees. Now, this study was done by a company called Blind, and they asked 12,000 employees at companies such as Facebook, Amazon, Microsoft, Google, and Apple, should you take a pay cut if you work remotely and move somewhere cheaper? Interesting question. And the reason why is because Facebook announced that it would allow at least some employees to work remotely permanently, but they may adjust their pay depending on where they choose to live. Now, this is an interesting twist in employee relations, and it also shows that there is benefit to being at the office. I was fascinated that a couple of people I knew were moving to Hawaii because they were permitted the chance to work permanently from home. But companies need to stabilize their policies working from home. And what I have found is that some managers may have this picture of employees working at home in their head. Now, are they really working in their jammies every day? I don't know, but I don't think they're as productive when they just work in their jammies every day, because I know I'm more productive when I get up and get dressed and I feel like I'm a professional. Or is this what the manager thinks that the people are doing when they work at home? I don't know, but what I actually believe is that this is what's happening, and it's a quality of life issue. So we get more exercise, we have time with our pets, we have time with our kids instead of sitting in traffic. Now, the number two issue is, can pop-up days improve well-being? And what are pop-up days? You might be interested in that, because what's happening is all over the world, companies are adding spontaneous days off for employees who are burned out from overwork during the pandemic. In recent months, businesses, both large and small, are offering employees self-care days. Now, that's a great term, self-care days, on top of regular paid time off. For instance, in April, LinkedIn shut down for 1 week, giving 16,000 employees 1 week off. And since last summer, Google has given workers 2 impromptu days in addition to their paid holidays. Now, back in November in 2020, Ryan Wirtz, CEO of cashback app Dosh, started granting employees impromptu long weekends. The Wall Street Journal reported that on some Thursdays during all staff meetings, Mr. Wirtz now surprises the company with news that the following day is Dosh Day, when no work is allowed. Can these holidays help? Well, I believe they can. And why? Because the days off help you de-stress, helps you take care of home chores, such as mowing the lawn, painting a bedroom, helping kids with their homework, watering neglected plants, doing summer cleaning since you missed spring cleaning. And there are more reasons why. In fact, what we know is that the brain gets tired. I don't know if you knew that or not, but you've probably experienced it, because when you work weekends and then you try to be as productive the next week, by Tuesday you are dead tired. So the brain pushes back and your thoughts get cloudy, creativity disappears, you have a harder time dealing with stress and with your coworkers. So you need to rest your brain, and all of the creativity will come back and the mental clarity will come back. So resting from work increases your productivity, and you're tackling problems instead of procrastinating them. Also, resting from coworkers enhances your work relationships, because everyone has little quirks and irritating habits. And once you've been away from them, then you can take charge and be friends with them again. But I think one of the major things that we found during COVID is that time off will improve your work-life balance, and resting from work does this. So as COVID came and we saw how important the relationships are, then I think that's a good byproduct of the COVID experience, because we are building the next generation. And by the way, the president of your company probably won't come and see you when you're 80, but someone who you have made a relationship will. So number 3, companies are emphasizing soft skills such as empathy. And why are they doing that? To unleash the full potential of human beings. So human beings are not just cogs in a wheel. When you acknowledge them as human beings and give them human respect, then you're acknowledging their talent and you're unleashing that talent with them. Now, I found it interesting to study a 15-year-old study in a Wired magazine. It was talking about all this new technology, and of course, it's all out of date right now. But even though that technology keeps changing, connection and trust are constant. And you might be race to be the first in the leadership ladder, but it's far better to be the voice that other people will miss if you weren't there. And that's because relationship needs are constant. Okay, and when you can build this rapport with employees, then they are more loyal, and it helps them with the burnout that they feel. So empathy helps you build rapport, trust, and relationships that fuel team success. To help with this, I offer the EQI 2.0 assessment. It has 15 subscales, which improves your human connection and quality of interactions. So the more effective you are at communication and at emotional intelligence, the more empathy you have, and the more you're going to be able to connect with your employees and help them through their burnout and stress. Empathy also helps stabilize workers who are experiencing dramatic life shifts or unseen life tragedies, because, life happens. It happens to all of us, and we need the love and support of the people around us. By understanding what people are thinking and feeling, social connection is built, which is important for physical and psychological well-being. I was listening to a psychologist, and she said that if people don't have an emotional connection to someone, they feel lonely inside. And we know this is what was happening in the pandemic, as a lot of loneliness occurred, and people were getting depressed because of this. So we want this social empathy going on between people to feel that connection, so that it's not like, when you're in an elevator and there's tons of people in there, but you're alone. We want people in your company to feel connected to each other. Now, number 4 is that we encourage more microtransactions and make them count. You might be wondering what microtransactions are. Well, microtransactions are actually water cooler conversations. So you want to build rapport with them. You want to learn about their past, honor their past, and figure out how you can use their talents moving forward. So short interactions that go beyond discussions about work assignments make friends out of coworkers. This improves the resolution of conflict. Do you understand why? Because when I'm a friend with you and we have a misunderstanding or a disagreement, if we're truly friends and we've had these experiences of building a relationship, then I'm going to give you the benefit of a doubt. So social interaction improves company culture as well, and it unifies your workers. You want to encourage workers to enjoy their time together as they learn and as they grow the company. So now we come to number 5, to train managers in how to reconsider people, priorities, and purposes. This is important because we've come out of a time where it's like the jigsaw puzzle. Everything's changed and we're trying to put it back together. And so the tumult of 2020 has prompted us to reconsider all of these things that are happening to us. And especially in the employee arena, you might say we're rethinking well-being, resilience, and purpose. And interestingly enough, your employees are reconsidering you too, and some of them may be sharpening their resumes. Nearly 2/3 of US-based employees in a McKinsey survey said that COVID-19 has caused them to reflect on their purpose in life. And nearly half said that they are reconsidering the kind of work they do. just because of the pandemic. Now, such findings have implications for your company's talent management strategy and its bottom line. People who live their purpose at work are more productive than people who don't. They are also healthier, more resilient, and more likely to stay with the company. Moreover, when employees feel their purpose is aligned with the organization's purpose, the benefits expand to include stronger employee engagement, heightened loyalty, and a greater willingness to recommend the company to others. So there's many benefits in aligning your purpose with the employee's purpose. 70% of employees said their sense of purpose is defined by work, and this was done by a study with McKinsey and Company. And as they did this, and as they found this in their research, they say that whether leaders like it or not, you as a leader play an important part in helping employees find their purpose and live it. So your work is cut out for you, because they also found that different segments of employees feel supported differently, and they feel thwarted in their purposes at work. So you have to key into each segment of your employees and find out what they need and how they are defining their purpose at work. Now, to help you with this, I have written a book called Discretionary Effort Leadership. And in this book, we talk about integrity and gratitude. We talk about safety and security, because people have to feel safe at work. They have to feel secure that no one's going to come in and hurt them in your workplace. And they have to have psychological safety. They have to have this psychological safety because it leads into social acceptance. Social acceptance means that you accept people as is when they're hired, and then you help them grow and you make them part of the in-group. And this brings us to rational alignment, which we're going to talk about more today, because rational alignment is what helps them find their purpose and align it with your purpose. And if you do these 3 steps below, then emotional commitment and authentic contribution are natural, and they will happen automatically. So let's focus on the rational alignment now. Rational alignment means that you are going over your vision, values, mission statements, goals, and objectives. And then the department has then they're going to go over their long-term goals and objectives, which match the company's long-term goals and objectives. And at this point, the employee can integrate those objectives into their personal planning. Now, why is this important? Because I can be busy all day long, but I'm not advancing the company's mission statement, goals, and objectives and values. So once I have integrated those things into my personal planning, then I'm moving forward on a productive path. And my manager and I will have checkpoints. We will have midpoints in our projects. And this means that the manager's not micromanaging, but they're coming in and asking, what are your blocks? How can I help you? Are you on track? Do you need mentoring from someone? Do you need what other things do you need to get this done? And that focuses the daily productivity of that employee. And they can align their purpose with yours. Now, you can see here that it's 1 foot in the future, you have the strategic, and you have the technical, or 1 foot in the present. So the strategic is the manager looking out, seeing what's coming in the future. What are the deadlines? What are the projects? How are we going to get this to market? And then the technical is, how are we getting it done today? That's what your employees, each one has to see the need and has to see that vision and connect their work to what's happening in the overall company. Now, an example of this is a story that I heard years ago, and I wanted to resurrect it right now because it's pretty important to what we're doing. There was a consulting team that was brought in to a company because they had 2 teams. One was very productive and one was not. And so they went to the unproductive team and they said, "What are you doing?" And they said, "We're chipping rock. Can't you see that?" Then they went to the productive team and they said, "What are you doing?" And they said, "We are chipping rock and building a cathedral to our God." So they saw the mission of the company, and that's what made them productive. So as we look at this, if you want to engage your team and keep them aligned, then you need to be investing time to connect them to the larger meaning of their work and letting them see how their work contributes to the organizational strategy. Help them understand not just what gets done, which is the task, but why it gets done. And this will help them align their purpose with yours. So you can increase trust and connection with the principles in my book, How to Earn the Gift of Discretionary Effort. Now, in the next couple of minutes we spend together, let's define what discretionary effort is. Discretionary effort, if you are wondering, is the difference between what an employee does to get a paycheck and what the employee is capable of contributing. You cannot legislate or demand discretionary effort. Why is that? Because discretionary effort is a conscious free will choice employees make on a daily basis. They don't know it, but when they start work or they come into work, they're thinking, should I return those emails right now? I don't know. There's a whole bunch of them there. Should I call that customer back that was angry yesterday? I have the answer, but I don't know. They were pretty angry. And should I get that to my manager right now, that project he wanted? And it's like, no, I think I'll check it over again. And all of a sudden you're going like, are there donuts in the break room again? And so this employee doesn't know it, but they are kind of procrastinating here, and they're making this choice about whether they're going to dig right in and give the work and give discretionary effort or not. And this graphic will show you the difference between the comfort zone and the capability, because the comfort zone down here is where employees do just enough work not to get fired and to get a paycheck. Where the ability to contribute is when they unwrap their gifts. And what I mean by this is that every employee has gifts that are not showing on the resume, such as determination, kindness, mediation skills, verbal skills, perseverance. They have all these things that can come out if you help them open their gifts. And when they open their gifts and you get them to contribute, who knows the capability and amazing contributions that they will give to your company? You don't know till you try. So leaders will point to a desirable future and make people want to join them. Good leaders are visionary. That's what we need after COVID. We need to design better futures, which include work-life balance and include empathy for people. We need to be big picture thinkers. We need to engage and excite people. We need to be able to set organizational strategy and initiate change. And culture change that is happening now is huge, and it is a change. It's a culture change. We need to set the organizational tone and take an intentional approach to the future. So you can call us at 770-923-0883 for new normal workshops. You can call us about Leadership of One personal coaching. And that's one of the things that's happened over COVID-19 is that I did a lot of personal coaching for people. I coached one young lady who was too aggressive in her approach with her direct reports. The CEO who hired me said that she was playing checkers and wiping them all off the board to make kings. And now I had her playing chess. Another employee was very unassertive, very afraid to speak up. And we worked on her assertiveness skills, and now she is happy with what she's contributing in the company by speaking up and giving her opinion. So we can do personal coaching, and we have Earn the Gift workshops and management certificates. And what you can do is go to earnthegift.com to learn about the management certificates, and you can get your own copy of Discretionary Effort if you want a digital copy at carlabrando.com, but the soft cover and the Kindle versions are available on Amazon. So thank you for attending, and you can visit me at www.carlabrando.com. Enjoy the rest of your day.